Hi friends, it's Tuesday, November 25th, 2014. Lynn and Jamie here, continuing our assignment and our string of basic intentions. Again, the instruction is to have as our intention to do what is ours to do in all dimensions to trigger the awakening right now. And with that, it begins. I feel like we're in Camp Concrete, and I also feel as though there are huge drifts of ash. It looks kind of like snow drifts, but it's ash, and it's like snow plows are needed to get through all the ash.
It's true.
And people don't look happy, they look upset, really upset.
That's true.
And it's not like I've just been sitting here doing nothing.
That's
There's
true.
so much burning and so much ash falling that it's been a challenge, and I acknowledge that my attention has been somewhat distracted by maintaining foci on other levels as well, in other dimensions as well, and that I can learn to do better with this than I have.
That's true.
More air, target to target. Often if air is the issue, the targets have been let go of in one degree or another.
That's true.
At the very top, it's like I see an air hole plug in the.
True.
It looks again like a tin top. It's a cheap
That's
metal
true.
top, silvery color, but it's not silver. It looks
That's
like
true,
tin, and I can just plug my top of my pillar in. And now the ash seems to be clearing much better.
Faster,
A lot faster. Let me hold this alignment and spin the emblem. I would like to beat the bird wings, pulse the bird wings, but my bird self, it's hard to fly when your head is smashed against the roof.
That's true.
I'm not sure what to do about that. So they show me how birds will often grab the perch with their talons and then beat their wings really hard.
That's true.
That's exactly what I am to do.
That's true.
And it looks much better. The irritation level is less now.
Something has happened.
Something has happened, and they are upset.
Something went down.
Nobody wants to talk to me or make eye contact. So, consulting my book, I just go to that tent, and it's Matthew's tent.
That's true.
But they just say, go to that tent.
Yes.
And I knock on the tent pole and ask, may I have an audience? What's wrong, my friend? Why are you in bed?
Saying his head hurts. There's something wrong with his head. He's holding it. My head hurts.
I have certain healing skills. Would you like me to offer myself in service?
He looks at the nurse, and the nurse is making a gesture like, yeah, go ahead.
I have permission to merge. I feel structurally this thing that's sitting on the head, and it doesn't feel so much about me personally, me Matthew personally, as it does about what I am or what I represent, and that this is something that simply must go. It's not going to dissolve or heal. It simply has to go. It has to be lifted off. It feels like something very heavy, solid and heavy, like a concrete slab sitting on your head. And I believe he says that's what it feels like.
Yes, that's true. It's what he said.
So let's just lift this off. I'm just going to hand this up. It's not about you per se.
No.
It's more like you hit your head up against the predefined limits as set by some other consensus.
That's true.
But there's no reality.
That's true.
In that limitation. There's simply the shared belief in the limitation that creates this concrete block. And there it goes, lifting off. I see an evidence tag going on it.
That's true.
And the gloved hands at forensics.
That's true.
So that they can figure out what this was that was blocking you. And it's not just blocking you, it's blocking a lot of beings.
That's true.
Maybe all the Seraphim, maybe all the members of the angelic orders, Seraphim, Cherubim, the rank and file angels is what I've heard them called.
Yeah.
But it seems to include at a minimum all of those groups.
That's true.
perhaps more than that as well. I don't know. Give me some feedback. Yeah, is the pain shifting?
It's shifting, it's moving.
Good, let's keep going. Oh boy, now has some fear coming up.
Yes.
A lot of fear. Because while the old ways were stifling, they were familiar.
That's true.
And with them gone, boy, fear is arising.
That's true, big fear.
Big, big, big fear. And with the fear comes something to cover up the fear that feels like bravado. And this is not about you, sir. This is much more than you.
That's true.
It's what you represent. And again, I have the sensation that it may have to do with the angelic orders.
Yes.
And I see things lifting off that were... it's kind of like punishments meted out to members of the angelic orders who pushed the barriers or pushed the limits or said, I don't agree with that. I'm going to take action that feels right to me, even though it's against the rules, quote unquote. And for example, I'm being shown the facilitator, a being I have worked with for a number of years, off and on, who did that. He felt that his assignment was true and proper, and that it conflicted with an existing rule, and so he took it on his own record to give his student a certain right to learn.
It's true.
And the student did not learn the lesson, and the facilitator asked him to be shown. It seems the facilitator is still in confinement as a result of that, and it's incorrect. He did the right thing. If the limitations are removed, we can see that he did the right thing.
That's true.
He took a chance and it didn't play out.
No, it didn't.
But that's different than breaking the law.
That's true.
So much fear, it makes me feel almost nauseous and sick.
It's true.
And this has something to do with fears of individuals feeling like they are being sacrificed for the greater good, and that's of course not how the system works. None of us is ever sacrificed. Difficulties can certainly be handed out, but that isn't the same as being sacrificed. Each situation holds a beautiful gift.
That is true.
And when we develop the habit of looking for the gift, we discover we can find it. We can find lots of gifts in all the difficult challenges of life.
It's true.
And this is in fact how we can grow quickly, by having many challenges and finding many gifts.
It's true.
And so those whose soul plans call for them to grow quickly often find themselves with a plate heaped over with challenges. Ooh.
It's true.
But that doesn't mean they're being punished by source.
No.
It's that they have chosen a life of quick growth.
True.
And are being presented with the opportunities that will call them into that growth.
That's true.
Now I see someone, and it could be you, in an earlier stage at it looks like a cafeteria or something. It's like the line where you get your challenges put on your plate.
Yes.
And you're saying, I'll have more of that. More of that. And it's a certain kind of challenge, and what that challenge is hard for me to say. It looks like mashed potatoes.
It does look like mashed potatoes.
So I'll have more of the mashed potato challenge, whatever that means. What do mashed potatoes represent? They're comfort food. So this a big heaping pile of lessons having to do with comfort. Perhaps the trap that comfort can be, and perhaps how a little bit of comfort is actually very helpful when we're up against it. And so for example, right now you have discomfort, correct?
That's true.
You have discomfort. And so now, what might be another way of relating to the discomfort? Well, for example, we could say, all right, I'm feeling sensations in my head that feel less than pleasant.
It's true.
And I know this is a signal, a message. Okay, you have my attention.
That's true.
And now to begin to engage in a game that we can learn to see as a fun game.
That's true.
Not punishment. It's like, okay, this is pretty clearly a message. Now, what is the message? mean? What is the message? Now, noticing that it is a message is the first step, and by far the easiest step.
That's true.
Properly interpreting the message takes years of practice.
That's true.
And we have, in our years of working with many, many students on many, many dimensions, noticed that pretty consistently people misinterpret their messages.
That's true.
99.99% of the time. People misinterpret their messages and head in the wrong direction. And misinterpreting our messages can set us back days, weeks, months, years. And in a time like these times, when we are charged with the responsibility of triggering the awakening right now, do it now, it's past time.
It's true.
Delays matter. For example, today we should be going down to a deeper dimension.
That's true.
But we aren't. Right?
True.
I'm asking, what might the pain in the head represent? Well, for us it was helpful to take off this concrete layer that was self-imposed limitations of a collective. Yes?
Yes.
We noticed that our work seems to be drilling down through what appear to be concrete layers,
That's
right?
True.
Clearing the energy that is trapped below that layer, right?
That's true.
Could it in fact be the same phenomenon? See?
Yes.
Trapped by collective perceptions.
I could be wrong, but it feels like what it comes down to is I still don't want to do it.
Right. This is how it is for everybody.
That's
this
true.
Is a it's this, except for me, I don't seem to have that.
No.
But I've been in contact with thousands upon thousands of beings throughout many, many, many different dimensions. You know this to be true, yes?
Yes.
And for all of them, without exception, this seems to be the case.
Not.
So this it's not a shameful thing to have this. It's a universal thing, and this is what we have come to change.
That's true.
We can see it in others, right? When we're digging down through these concrete layers and the seraphim go out into the dimension that we have just entered.
Yes.
You can see how they are suffering, right?
Yes.
And you can see how they're trapped artificially under a barrier of their own making, right?
Yes.
And that you can release them up and out, and it's 1,000 times better for them, yes?
Yes.
We can see it for them, right?
Yes.
And then we can see through this morning's experience of the pain in the head how it is identical for us, however us is defined. Seraphim, cherubim, rank and file angels, whatever that group is.
And here he seems to have a disconnect.
Help me understand.
And he says, but we're different from those people.
And how are you different?
Well, we're good people. Oh.
And so are they.
That's true.
In the end, everyone wears white hats.
That's true.
At the heart of it, everyone is a good person.
That's true.
No one is not good.
That's
The
true.
rescue spirits of the light come in to rescue the suffering beings.
That's true.
Not bad people, but to rescue suffering people. They are suffering
That's true.
by their own actions in a self-created hell.
That's true.
As are we all, until we aren't anymore.
And he looks like this has never occurred to him before. He looks totally taken aback. But open, taken aback and nodding.
Yes. We are all the same.
That's true.
We are all the same. There's only actually one of us here. There actually is no difference. You know this as a theoretical construct that we are all members of a oneness, yes?
Yes.
And now here's a way to actually experience it.
Oh. It's like his eyes are opening wide. Oh.
How's the pain?
My head doesn't hurt, but I have a burning in my chest.
Okay, so right now the headache, which is what we began with, has gone from 7.5 to 0.
He nods.
Can we note that before we move on? So when we come to understand that no one is sacrificed ever for the greater good, and that we aren't the one exception in all the universe, we discover it is in fact safe to open ourselves at deeper and deeper and deeper levels.
It's true.
To source, to spirit, to light, to divine wind, whatever label you want to put on it.
It's true.
And we discover that as these deeper levels open up, the first thing that we feel often is a burning or a pain as a new, deeper level opens up. But as we continue to expand it, and you can with your energy hands for yourself right now, just gently stick your fingers into that opening that's right where that pain is showing you. Gently, gently, not with force, not ripping it faster than it is able to open, but gently draw that open. It's like an exhale of burning pain.
It's true.
And an inhale of cool energy that in itself almost burns. It's like when really cold air comes in.
Yes. It's true. Stinging a little.
Stinging a little, but just to let that stinging, tingling sensation pass. Not to constrict around it, but instead to continue to open the heart at this deeper level. He's in the breathless state.
Yes. And he says something like, what do we do now?
Well, I say, let's go down 1, 2, 3, or 4 dimensions.
That's what the book says.